All right, today's going to be a quick video on some price action review on where Sol can head to. Are we headed up to 320? Possibly. Let's go ahead and look at the chart. All right. Most of my stuff's based off Coinbase because that's the majority of where I trade. So it's going to be a Coinbase chart. Pretty much all the same everywhere. If we needed more history, we'd look somewhere else, but I think this is good enough. So where are we at? Where could we be headed? Where's potential support down below? And potentially where could that take us to? All right, so we're going to drop off an all-time high. And around in the 2016, 2020 area. We're there now. We've got a little bit of wicking. I like the volume coming in. If that's not going to make it, if it's going to reject. 177 to 180, pretty logical area, just as far as support and res before we get into the EMAs. Let's just turn those off. Let's hide those for now. Let's just look at clean support and resistance. I like that right there because of that area where it actually started off. And I like this higher lows. And I do like that right there. And of course, this is on a daily time frame, so it looks a little more lines than it probably needs to be if you were to drill down. But when you start to look at price, you're talking about 117 up to 200. I mean, that's actually significant. And all those are actually significant areas where if it didn't respect any patterns, any Fibonacci's, anything else, if it was just running off support and res, if the majority of traders are trading support and res, and you find on the books that there just happens to be a ton of supply being dumped and there are less buyers, obviously there is more supply than demand, it is going to come back down. And it's going to come back down until it finds an area where there is interest and demand again. People that are buying this now, you might not find that they have enough pressure to buy up and over because they're not sure. They're not sure if it's ready. And if it's not ready, it'll just come back down and we may find support where it could be ready right there. Okay, 177 to 180 is a very logical. I would almost expect it to be bouncing around a little bit and take off from there, potentially. If it couldn't find that, market tanks, other things go with it and take it down. Next logical support is right there where that little leg started up pretty much, 150s, 153s. If that one lets go, not all is lost. 130s, 140s. Getting down into where things have really trend changed and it's looking for real support, 120s, 117s, and then you could even say, you know, as far down as like 80. If that's the case, this is a totally different setup. That'd be blown. If I started losing maybe that support, I wouldn't be looking for a long anymore. And I'm not exactly looking for a short here either, unless dictated by the volume at the time as I'm watching the chart go forward. If I find there's a massive amount of volume and sell-off of people crossing the bid, sure, I would maybe take a short. But I'm on Coinbase right now. I can't get on Binance, so there's no short for me. Would I be looking for a short if I could get onto a short? Yes, potentially, and potentially down to 150. More than likely, though, this is going to find some pressure and build and pop. And if it does pop, depending upon how much it consolidates and coils, that's a pretty good move already from there to there. I'd say from there to there, maybe we're looking at, you know, 240s, maybe 280s. Once it gets over there, though, realistically, I think we're looking at 3 to 320 intermediate term, somewhere in there. Pull that down a little bit and get a look at this. And you can see where I'm looking at. If this popped over and the volume wasn't there to really, you know, say it was going to start clearing each overhead area from the trend angle, 240, 260, I'd be looking to take gains, but I'd reevaluate that again at the time based on volume, based on how long it took to get there and how it looked arriving, and what kind of support are we looking at. Is there still frenzied price action? Is there a lot of buying and low selling, or are everyone from this area down in here looking to take gains? It looks like everyone from there to there took gains there. It's a lot of volume, and there was a lot of sell-off. There was a decent amount of volume. It took a pretty good crack back down to the 115s. Pretty significant, and then it just trailed off, no volume. As it consolidated in here, it found itself with some volume popping up, but it doesn't look good at the high test yet. It could look good, but I really feel like we're going to come back down more into like the 180s before we coil up and then go higher. I'd like to see it slip over and maybe consolidate around between under 240 and start to slow climb out to 320 would be much more solid of a run. You know, I don't like the poppy price action so much. That makes me have to get out of a trade versus being able to hold it longer. I think overall head to 320, but I don't think it goes directly to 320. I think there's a lot of up and down before we get there. And potentially I do think 140 is on deck, 180 revisit up to 260. I think the range I'd be trying to trade most would be 180 to 240s significantly multiple times if possible. That would be a really good padding to the wallet if you could catch that $50 spread, $100 spread a few times. If you got, further down to the 140 up to like the 260, that would be a really good trade as well. And that's the zones that I'd be looking for. And I'll revisit this in a couple days. Chart looks almost ready, set up. It might pop in the morning on Monday out of nowhere. If it did, I wouldn't expect it to hold 240 or 278. I don't think the fundamentals are there for it yet, but it's possible. But let price action be your guide and let volume be your guide. Thanks. Have a good day.